Ask a raw pre-trained model a question, and it might just give you more questions back. That's not a bug. A base model only ever learned to predict the next token on a giant pile of internet text, so it continues your prompt instead of answering it. Ask about the weather, and it might list 10 more weather questions. Supervised fine-tuning is the step that turns that text predictor into something that actually behaves like an assistant. Let's break down exactly how it works, and why it's the very first thing that happens after pre-training. Here's the whole process start to finish in 4 clear moves. We begin with a pre-trained base model. It has read an enormous amount of text and genuinely knows a lot about the world, but all it really does is guess what word comes next. Point it at a question and it happily rambles on, continuing the pattern rather than replying to you. The knowledge is in there, the helpful behavior is not. Then comes the data, and this is the heart of it. We gather a curated set of prompt and response pairs. Each one is an instruction matched with a high-quality demonstration answer, written or carefully vetted by humans. This dataset is the entire lesson we want to teach, so every example is essentially a worked demonstration of good behavior. Now we train on those pairs using the exact same next token objective from pre-training. Nothing exotic changes under the hood. The only difference is that the correct next tokens are now the tokens of a good, helpful response, instead of whatever random web text happened to follow. The model learns to produce that response. And out the other side comes a model that follows instructions. Ask it something and it answers the question, holds a helpful tone, and refuses harmful requests. That whole shift in behavior came entirely from the examples we showed it, not from any new architecture or any extra raw knowledge. So what does this step actually buy you? Put the before and after right next to each other. Beforehand, you have a plain base model. It is fluent and deeply knowledgeable, but it just continues text. Give it a prompt and it drifts, completing the pattern rather than serving you. Genuinely useful knowledge is sitting in there, locked away behind the wrong behavior, which makes it frustrating to actually use for anything real. Afterward, that very same model follows instructions like an assistant. This single shift is what made systems like InstructGPT and Alpaca work in the first place. Look, the raw intelligence barely moved at all. What changed is that the model finally learned how to be helpful, how to take an instruction and actually carry it out for you. There are really 3 ideas that carry this whole method, and each one is worth holding on to. Training runs on curated instruction and response pairs. The examples are the curriculum, so quality matters far more than raw quantity. A few thousand excellent, carefully written demonstrations will beat millions of mediocre ones every single time. This teaches the format and behavior of following instructions. Answer the question, adopt a helpful tone, refuse the harmful ask. It shapes how the model acts and how it presents itself, not what facts it happens to know underneath. And it is the foundation for everything after. Preference methods like RLHF and DPO build directly on top of fine-tuning to align a model further to human taste. But none of that works until this first step is done. Okay, let's lock in 4 things worth keeping. This first step, also called instruction tuning, is what turns a raw base model into a genuinely usable assistant. It trains on curated prompt and response pairs using the same next token objective, so a good demonstration answer becomes the target the model learns. The main lever here is data quality. A few thousand excellent examples reliably beat millions of mediocre ones, which is why teams obsess over their demonstration data. And it's the base that preference methods like RLHF and DPO build on afterward. If you want more AI ideas explained this plainly, Standarity.com is exactly where they live. See you there.